So after Prince's death, like I said, this resurfaced the conversation of Peter and my mother meeting. And the best way that I can describe it is that it was a feeling of, and I'm again just being like I've always been, brutally fucking honest. It was a combination of desperation. It was a combination of low-key embarrassment because it's like, how have I met and hung out with his mother like at this point 3 or 4 times at least, if not 5? And she's like, paid for my meals and shit. And we're supposed to be in a serious relationship, and my mother hasn't met this man. So desperation, embarrassment, anger that it hadn't happened yet. Maybe, perhaps, like a combination of like those three mostly, right? So it's so interesting because I'll be honest, I felt at the time that there was some force that was preventing this from happening, right? One of my mentors said the same thing, like, stop trying to force it, just let it happen. And you're stubborn. You just do what satisfies you at the time, right? And again, I was just so doing everything to make this happen. Which brings us to, I don't remember what the date was, but I want to say it was early December. So we're gonna jump around a little bit, and you'll see so much happens in this part of the story. You can consider it the final leg, the third leg of the story. I think it was early December. I'm not sure. Time is a little bit fuzzy, but we finally locked down a date. I'm happy, but I'll be honest, there's this underlying feeling of, this feels forced, like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, something's off, but it's finally fucking happening. So it's like, it took moving mountains to make this happen. So even though everything doesn't feel off, like, oh well. So, or everything that doesn't feel right, oh well. So I'll never forget that morning. I wake up because I'm getting ready. I've been so anxious and so, again, desperate for this day to happen. And I'm texting my mom. I think we started out texting, then we got on the phone. It doesn't matter. You'll see very shortly why. She said, I'm excited to meet you and Peter, or to meet with you and Peter, and to meet Peter for the first time. She said, I just have one request. I said, what's that? She said, no postings on social media. Please, let's not post any pictures. It was the biggest punch to my gut, just a stab to the heart that I had felt in a while. Keeping in mind that I had just lost my dog, right? And I let her know as much immediately. I was so furious. Here's the thing. I don't think anybody knows about this until right this moment. Meanwhile, I'm getting a text from Peter. He woke up sick that morning. And he's super apologizing. I'm so sorry, this is on me, because he knows how badly I wanted this to happen. Mariah. I'll talk about that inside joke a little later that Michelle and I created as the proud founders of the Church of Mariah, because I'm sure there are many out there, but it doesn't matter. Ours is the only relevant one. But I did not notify either party about their status. So in other words, I did not tell my mother that Peter woke up sick. I did not tell Peter that my mother said no social media. Oh, and I perhaps left out the biggest detail. So when my mother said no social media, I canceled immediately. I was like, fuck this. Fuck no. Not happening. Too bad. And I'll be honest, I let her sweat. I let her be upset, and I let her, I was so hurt by this, and this is, you have to realize again that my family and me have been through a lot, and I love them dearly, and that me talking about this and exposing this is really in the hopes and attempts of so that another family doesn't have to go through this, okay? So that another person doesn't have to go through this with their parents, because I promise you, our relationship, my mom and mine, has never been stronger, has never been better. But I have to be honest about this. This drove a huge wedge between us. Huge, huge. And my mom even said, she said, don't let this come between us. She said, especially at this time when we need each other, referring to Prince's death. And I was so hurt. I was so upset and hurt by this. And then I don't know, it's also almost as though the like subtext of the fact that like I don't know how genuine Peter's feelings were at this moment. If it was like later on that he started to get off on like how upset this was all making me and how wrapped up I was in all of this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it was definitely like a switch, you know, you'll see what I mean by that. And I don't know when that switch happened. I don't know what it's like to have the emotional maturity of a toddler. I don't know what it's like to not feel things, to not have feelings. And again, I feel like I spent this entire relationship trying to have some respect and some patience for the trauma that this person has gone through. But I also feel like I have my own stuff to work through, and I'm going to do that with or without you. And also, like, it's not gonna happen like it's gonna happen like in spite of you. Like, if I haven't said this already, like, I'm surprised, but y'all, there's no such thing in life as staying still. There really isn't. Like, if you're not going forwards, you're going backwards. You don't stay still. You don't just chill in life, you know? So I know that all sounds super random, but like, I do think I have honestly somewhat captured just a little bit of what was going on in my mind and what was going on in my life at this point, which is the point of making this series. Just to be as brutally honest as possible. So this drove a huge wedge between my mother and I. We did not speak for a while. It wasn't like, you know, like a month or anything, but it was a while. And I told her as much. I told her how upset and how disappointed I was. And I told her that her words felt like it was worse hearing it from my mother than from any of the kids that call me faggot growing up, and from any of the people that tease me, you know, like, fuck, dude, I'm not gonna lie. And again, I love my beautiful, amazing, incredible mother. But I pray that nobody has to go through this. Maybe someone will watch this and will not have to go through this with their parents one day. So that brings us to the holiday season 2023. Oh boy. Yeah, holiday season 2023. Coming right up.